This episode is an absolute masterclass when it comes to you being able to create a machine that is literally, you put $1 in, it goes through a system, and out the other end comes clients, money, profits. That's exactly what we're talking about in today's episode with Vaughn that I'm about to introduce you to in just a second, but I just want you to grasp how important it is for you to be able to get ready to take some notes on this, because quite literally, if you are wanting to be able to grow your business, if you are wanting to be able to create a system, a machine, a replicatable, duplicatable, reliable process for you to be able to get clients and to be able to build your business and to be able to ensure that you're attracting in the right type of people that you love to work with and doing what's needed to be able to actually scale your business, because maybe you feel like you're doing everything right. Maybe you're feeling a little bit frustrated because you have been at a point where you're not growing as fast as you want, then this episode is for you. And I know, Chris, that's a very bold promise that you're making. Yes, it is a bold promise I'm making, and that's why I feel pretty darn confident that you're really going to enjoy this episode with Vaughn, a new mate that I met just maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago right now from this point of recording. And Vaughn's help personally with myself, with the companies and with all of the partners that we work with has been absolutely tremendous. So get ready, strap yourself in. You're going to want to take notes throughout this episode, and make sure any insights or anything like that you're going to put down into the YouTube comments. I also would highly suggest, because we're going to do a round 2 after this episode, is just amazing because the time just flew by. Any questions, comments, topics, or anything like that that you want us to cover in the next episode that we do together, put that into the YouTube comments as well. Where I actually want to start this is I'm going to give context into the beginning of my romantic relationship with Yvonne. And so, I don't know, however long ago it was when we were in Melbourne, right? And in this room, do you mean everyone's high level in this room, and you're up the front, do you mean doing your thing, teaching, and it was like mind blowing. I remember I've got my book with all my notes sitting over there. And someone asked a question. I'm sure this question comes up with a lot of people, and why I kind of wanted to start with this context. And one person was like, feeling fear about like increasing their ad spend, having to spend more ads, and obviously being able to scale their actual offer and like really take it to the level
I
where
remember.
they're at.
Yep.
You had the best answer. This person was sitting there, put their hand up, Vaughn, I've got this problem. I'm stuck. I want to be able to spend more ads. And it was kind of like, do you know what I mean? Excuse. What do I do? And their question was really framed about like, what do I do about ads? How do I change my offer, or all of these kind of things? And your answer, I don't think I'll ever forget this one. And your answer simply was, just work on yourself. And I remember I lost my shit. I'm there like, I'm thigh slapping in the corner, like laughing, being like, but that was so good. And I think that's something that not enough people are actually talking about as well. So I just want to say thank you for saying that, because that's a lesson I take on board for myself as we go through this.
I take that on board for myself as well. Like I have these calls on a daily basis, and I'll go, like I have 2-story house. So I'll go downstairs, and my wife and my daughter are downstairs, and I'll get off a call, and I'll go, oh yeah, I had a call about da 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 da, and she'll be like, how'd it go? And I was like, yeah, like, I'm still teaching myself whilst I'm teaching other people, and us as experts or coaches are still doing that, and some of our best learnings are through teaching. And now I'm not saying just solely base your business on just teaching other people and telling other people to do stuff, but the more that we practice what we preach, the better that we get at what we're preaching. And I do like every day. I go and I have my sauna, and I sit in my sauna, and I do a Joe Dispenza meditation where I go, what are the parts of myself that I no longer, or who do I no longer want to be? Yes. Bring all that up in the sauna, sweat it out, and then I say, and now who am I walking out of this sauna, and how do I act, and what are the traits that I want in my life, and how do I want to be in the world? And then I walk out of that sauna, and and I emulate those things. Now, I don't do it perfect every day. Nobody does. No coach in the world. Tony Robbins doesn't do it perfect. You know, the biggest coach in the world doesn't do it perfect. But the thing is every day improving on yourself. And that the person who asked that question, I'd never met them, but I could already tell based on the questions for previous speakers that he asked that there was something there, and his business hat was doing great. But we as business owners, me included, I'm the bottleneck in my business. He's the bottleneck in his business. And the question, and 90% of people in that room had a good laugh because they know that we're all guilty of it. Not just him, but we're all guilty of it, is making up excuses for doing the work on ourselves and being like, oh, I've hit this income plateau. And even I'm in that boat. I've just hit this income plateau and I'm doing great, but I've been at the same position for like 24 months. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good. Like, I'm fine. It's all good. But like, I've hit this glass ceiling, and it's like, okay, I did my taxes and I was like, I'm still there. And then I went back and I'm like, okay, cool. There's something here. I need to go work on myself. The other thing that I did is I give away a bunch of money to move the money flow, because that's also a part of all of this, which I know that you would know, Chris. But a lot of it just comes down to working on ourselves. Of course, there is specific tactics which we're going to get into. And this is a call about media buying and Facebook ads and YouTube ads. But the core fundamentals do not change, year on year. I've got books in my library that are 100 years old that still have amazing marketing tactics that I can use right now, and an ad campaign will crush it, because the key fundamental human behavior does not change. Technology changes, but we just adapt the fundamentals to the technological changes as we move forward.
Yeah, dude, I love that. It was literally yesterday afternoon. I was sitting there reading the Boron Letters, and also another book from Gary Halbert being called How to Make Maximum Money in Minimum Time. Yeah, exactly right. That's what's sitting just over there. Very true. And that's what, like, I was reading that and I was like, oh my God, that was actually written in 1986, which means that was written the year before I was born. And like, it was golden. Like, I've got dog ears all throughout that book, because I'm like, This is amazing. Like, I am literally taking that and actually sitting down this morning writing copy for the ads, do you know what I mean, that are going to start running, like taking that across. Okay, fuck, there's so much I want to go through with you. Let me take a segue, because you said bottleneck, which was what we were talking about before we hit record as well, which is a lot of the time, let's say a coach, an expert, the person that's going to be watching and listening to this, they are the bottleneck to their business growing right now. And you said something that I wrote down that I think is just key, and I think might be kind of like the fundamental thread that weaves throughout this conversation, which is, once you've got your offer dialed in, it's really just media and ad related from there. And so can we kind of like pull apart those two? Probably let's first pull apart, because I'd love to know your concepts or philosophy as to like a high converting offer and what's working today. And then obviously, how do we then start to pull apart and dissect the ad and media buying?
Yeah, for sure. So from an offer perspective, I'm going to say the same thing that I'll always say, is sell people what they want to buy. So many of us try and go, oh, I'm going to sell something different from what they think they want. But you've got to spend so much money and effort on convincing somebody to buy something that they don't even know that they want. So first of all, fundamentally, sell people stuff that they want to buy. Second, sell something that somebody's in pain with. For example, they've got to have pain, because you got to understand 95% of human beings are trying to move away from pain. Now, you and I and other people that are probably going to be watching this probably aren't really in pain because we're doing well. So we're moving towards, and even talk about income plateaus. You know, it's no longer moving away from pain, it's moving towards pleasure, which is, you know, you got to make that transition. And most of people's markets have a pain point, and you've got to find that pain point, and then you've got to create an offer that solves that pain point, and that's when people are willing to get their credit cards out and pay. So
No, I was
yes,
just going to ask, Gordon, is there any like common threads that you see that offers that flop? Like if there's like a couple of like, oh, these are things where are kind of like the red crosses, don't do this. Are any of that come up?
yeah, when you're selling to a small sub niche that doesn't have a lot of a lot of money, basically. When you're trying to solve problems for people who are in a lot of pain, however, they don't even have enough money to buy your product. That's like key fundamental is where I see high level, a lot of offers flop because like even say guys like coaching people with you know, like coaching young guys with e-commerce, like they can get to a certain level of scale. However, they can't get past that. Now, the offer's not flopping. It's just they can't keep scaling because their target market doesn't have any more money. Yeah, targeting anybody under 25 with a certain kind of offer, I usually see that flop. Even in the dating niche, if you're doing young guys, that's a hard niche to go after. You're better off going after 25 plus year olds, professionals, etc. So like fundamental is income, making sure that your market has enough income to easily be able to afford your product. So first of all, you've got, all right, they've got to have a pain point. Second of all, they've got to have enough income to be able to afford the product that you're trying to sell that solves the pain. So, you know, I know that your group of people that and your clients, they are diverse. So you've got clients in multiple different niches. And people watching this video are in all kinds of different niches. So I'm just kind of trying to put a broad brush across everything. First is pain. Second is income. And then third, they've got to have a desire to actually take action. There's got to be enough pain to have a big enough desire to take action to buy the product. So again, like I talked about at the start of this call, is you have to have these key fundamental marketing principles in place that are going to last till the end of time because it's just human nature. So that's what an offer is, human nature. You've got to go back to, okay, cool, you know, are humans going to buy this? Are they in enough pain with this current problem to be able to pay the money to fix and find and get a solution to it? So yeah, from offers, you know,
Joe,
go ahead.
Save on like which I think like listening to it, I think a lot of people could be like, oh, like that's obvious, Vaughn. But no. This is so important to actually, for me, I want to like, I'm taking this lesson on board right now. Truly sitting down and then being able to pass out what is actually going on. Like, is this offer going to tick these boxes that I need this to tick? Because we're in similar situations as well with the people that we work with. Like,
yes,
we might have
that's right.
a coach come to us. I have to sit down and think through that process of looking at their offer and going, oh, hang on, like, do we need to make some strategical changes before we even start talking ad creatives, copy, do you mean campaigns, all of that fun stuff that we'll get into?
Yep.
And that's why I really appreciate you bringing that up, because that is such a key part where I'll just speak for myself. In my history before, I have not actually sat down and done enough of that work to truly make sure that those things have been truly checked off.
And now, caveat to that is 2015, 16, 17, 18, even up to 2019 on Facebook, you could crush it with offers that didn't even really solve a problem and didn't even really have a big pain point and weren't even high ticket. It was possible. And I'm mainly talking about the info space here, but it was possible. But that is, CPMs have risen. Now, this is where it's getting technical. Your cost per 1,000 impressions have risen over time. Your audience has matured over time, and it's getting harder and harder over time and more expensive over time. So you no longer can be an amateur marketer in today's marketplace unless you have some new fresh product that nobody else is doing, and that'll work for 6 months until everybody else cottons onto it, and then you've got to really ratchet up your marketing knowledge and prowess to be able to keep that offer profitable long term. Because I've been in the crypto niche and blown products up really quickly and stuff like that, but the people who stay around for the longest even in those niches on a down market are the people who are the best marketers in the game. They stay in the game regardless of market conditions. Everybody can get a win when something's hot. That's easy. That is easy. But what winning long term looks like is when something is not so hot, being able to keep your marketing pushing forward because you are a sophisticated marketer and you've got the nous about yourself to be able to iterate, reinvent, come up with new hooks, new angles, new ways to offer the same product, or even different products within your offering to adapt to the marketplace of the current times. Like, it could be a down economy and you're a dating coach and you're talking about, or a relationship coach and you're talking about, hey, times are tough right now. Here's how, here's how to, with budget tightening, here's how to keep a good relationship. Or, hey, times are tough. Here's how to still invest in profit from property in a downturning market. And you have strategies and solutions for both an upturn and a downturn, and you incorporate that into your offer so you have longevity in your offer. And you can turn an offer from an offer that would have made you $1 million to an offer that makes you 10, 20, 30, $100 million, because you have the longevity and you're making, a couple million a year, but you're able to make that over 10 years. And because it doesn't matter what market you're in, you're savvy enough to be able to adapt your marketing message to the current market that's out there. So you have that message market fit.
I'm going to take us on a slight tangent. I'm going to swing us back around, but there's one question in my head right now. I would love to know, Vaughan, let's say when Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, do you know what I mean, whoever comes to you, what's your inner dialogue when you have this, let's say, new account, new coach, new person come to you? What's your inner dialogue as into what you're working through and thinking through so that you can make this a successful campaign, successful business, successful relationship with them? Have you subscribed? If not, this is the best time for you to subscribe, whether you're on the YouTube or on the podcast. Why? Because it would be a bummer if you missed out on everything that's to come, or don't subscribe if you're not actually getting much value out of this, because there is a zillion other things that you could be doing. So I'd rather you go and do that. The ball's in your court. Great question. So do you know Russ Ruffino? Yeah. Right? And a lot of your audience will know Russ Ruffino. Russ Ruffino, him and I had a call yesterday. He's like, hey man, need help with my ads. So here's a current example, which, a lot of people know. Russ and I jumped on a call yesterday. He's got issues with his ads. I'm going, cool. What's your CPM cost? So what's your cost per impression? Really high, right? So I'm going, okay, his cost per impression's really high, which means
there's a couple of factors. One, it could be his audience is fatigued. What's his frequency that his audience is getting hit, right? If you've got like a 7 frequency on a 7-day window, every day people are seeing your ads. What ends up happening is if people see your ads too many times, they thumb past it. And you would do this, I do it. You see something, Russell Brunson, I know, whatever. He's got a different offer, but you see his face and you just thumb past it because you're like, I know who you are, I know what you do, and I know how you could potentially help me, but not interested. Thumb past, thumb past, thumb past. You're not sitting there and watching the content, which in the back end of Facebook, and this is going technical, in the back end of Facebook, that is going to your relevancy score, which is going to your engagement rate ranking. If your engagement rate ranking is low, meaning that people are thumbing past and not watching your content, that is going to charge you a higher CPM, so a higher cost per impression. So you might be paying $60, $70, $80, $100, $150 to reach 1,000 people, where if people were more engaged in your content, you might only be paying 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, or even less, for people to watch your content. Now, what does that segue into? If you've got a high cost per impression, it means that you at an average click-through rate of 1% or higher, that means that your click cost is $5, right? It's going to cost you $5. So just doing the math in your head. So when I'm looking at these accounts, I'm just doing basic math. All right, cool. My CPM's $50, my click-through rate's 1%. That means my cost per click is $5. So for $5, what's my landing page conversion? If my landing page conversion is only 10%, that's costing me $50 a lead. All right, cool. What are my big levers here? All right, one is my landing page is only converting at 10%. So I want to double that, which means that my cost per lead would go from 50 down to 25.
Yep.
So I'm going, cool. I'm not even going to do a media buying thing right here. I'm going to get them to change the landing page headline because I know that the landing page headline is 80% of the landing page conversion. So bang, I'm going to start split testing the landing page headline, change the landing page headline. You know, and I did this for Richmond Din just last week. Changes landing page conversion, changes headline, because I split tested again your ads. Look at the winning headlines from your ads that you're using in your ads, and then you could just use that headline as your landing page headline because you know that it's winning in an ad. Why would it not win? Because it's got the market's obviously interested in that headline. So then that you end up taking that and using that as your landing page headline, bang, increased landing page conversion right there. Going back to your question, I'm looking at that. And then I'm going, okay, cool. If my CPM, my cost per 1,000 impressions is high, I'm going, cool. Is it face fatigue? Have they seen your face too many times and they're no longer interested? Is it page fatigue? Have they seen the click funnels? Like I'm just using Russell Brunson as an example because I always flick past his content and don't watch his stuff. So shout out Russell Brunson. Am I seeing Russell Brunson or ClickFunnels all the time and I'm just flicking past it? So could it be that the Facebook page, change the Facebook page? Could it be your landing page headline sucks? Could it be your copy sucks? Could it be your script that sucks? So I'm going through all these things. Biggest needle mover to get your CPM down though, in my experience, changing the face on the video, as in using a different person, because of the fact that a lot of the time people have seen you too many times. So they want, you want a different face. So first protocol, change the face. And I'm doing this with Russ Ruffino, going back to Russ Ruffino, because I had that conversation with him yesterday. That's what I'm getting him to do first. Hey, change the face. Let's change your face. Let's see if that makes a difference to try and lower your CPMs. So looking at CPMs, because the CPMs is going to tell me what the correlation is. And if I'm paying high impression costs, it's costing me more to reach people if I can if it can cost me less to reach people, I can spend the same amount of money and reach 1.5 to 2 times as many people for the same dollar amount, which means you're going to have flow-on effects on the back end for that. So first of all, CPM. Next, I'm looking at click-through rate. Is my click-through rate above 1%? Link click-through rate? Not all click-through rate, link click-through rate. Is it above 1%? 1% is the benchmark. Is it above 1%? Yes, good, okay. Or is it below 1%? Okay, it's below 1%. People are seeing the content. It's cheap for them to see it, but they're not clicking through. All right, is my call to action in the video not dialed in? Am I not do I not have a strong enough message in the video to get people to click? All right, look at my message. All right, cool. Am I selling the benefit of opting in or clicking to the landing page enough for them to click through? So first of all, that. Then I'm looking at the headline underneath the ad. Is that compelling enough? Am I selling them enough? Am I giving enough value and reason for them to click? Yes, no, maybe, change it, right? Test it, see if you can improve with that headline, and then I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to thumbnail. But first of all, I'm going video. Is the video compelling enough? Is it getting enough people to click? Is my call to action good enough in the video? Then I'm going to headline underneath the video to make sure that it's compelling enough so I can get it, my link click-through rate above 1%. Now, then that there, my CPM and my click-through rate is going to equal my cost per click, because those two are added together and you do the math on them, and then that equals your CPC cost. 1% of $50 CPMs equals $5 per click in the example that I gave before. So if I can improve that click-through rate, that'll lower my CPC. If I can lower the CPM and improve my click-through rate, that'll lower my CPC, which means I'm going to get more people to the landing page for a cheaper cost. I'm still spending the same money, but I'm maximizing my profits for the same amount of money that I'm spending. I'm maximizing the amount of people I'm reaching, and I'm maximizing the amount of people that I'm getting to my landing page. Then I've already gone through, because in this example that I'm giving you, I've looked and the landing page conversion was low, so I've bumped that landing page conversion. So I'm not only getting more people to the landing page for cheaper, I'm actually getting more people to opt in for even cheaper. And now this is where you get big levers, because it's like I've not only reached more people for cheaper, I've then enabled me to get my click-through rate higher, so more people are clicking to my landing page, and I've also improved my landing page conversion, which is more leads for a cheaper cost. And those on the front end metrics is what we're really looking at. And a lot of coaches, consultants, and experts, that's their biggest problem. They're paying too high of a CPM because their content is not engaging enough. It's not compelling, and they have low click-through rates because they're not getting enough people to click on the link, and they have low landing page conversions because of the fact that their payoff to opt in is not high enough. People are not getting, they don't see the value in opting in and giving their email, because people are savvy now. They know that if they give you their email, they know that you're just going to keep blasting them. So they're like, it's not 2015 anymore where people just opt in just to see what it's about. They know that you are going to send them to a webinar or a VSL. They know what's coming. So they're like, they've got to weigh up in their head, is this worth it, right? So you've got to have, Homosian, everybody loves Homosian's offers, $100 million offers, cool. But the thing is you've got to be making offers the whole way along. You got to get them from the ad to the landing page. You've got to have a compelling enough video, compelling enough offer on the video to get them to the landing page. And your landing pages has to be compelling enough to get them to actually opt in. And that's just one part of the equation. The next part of the equation is actually getting them to show up and watch the training. So you've got to, again, sell, give them the offer of, hey, get on this training and you're going to get this workbook, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, for just showing up to the training. So you've got to get them to show up. And now once you get them to show up, you've got to get them to stay. So you've got to have a compelling enough offer to get them to stay. So you got to understand is you're selling and you're creating offers, micro offers for these micro commitments along the way to move them through your funnel process. And a lot of people miss that. They just think, free book, get it now, free this or free that. And it's like, that's good. But yeah, free this because you're going to solve this problem, because this is all the value that you're going to get for rocking up to this free thing, and just dazzle your clients the whole way along. So they go, oh, wow, man, he gave me this free thing now, and he gave me this, and he gave me this. And, oh, wow, imagine what he's going to give me when I actually pay him or her. So yeah, make sure you're making those micro offers the whole way along so you have a better throughput, and then you get them to your maybe your 5K offer. And then again, you're over delivering, but you're also stepping them through and saying, hey, and if you're looking to get to the next level, and then you're selling them into your mastermind, or you're selling them into your back end, whatever product you have, whether it's a one-on-one coaching or whether it's with one of your team members that is accountability coach, whatever it is. But you got to be making those offers the whole way along. So then your throughput is accelerated, which then means you have more cash. More cash means more cash to put into front end ads to scale your front end. So then you can acquire more customers that you can then accentuate into your back end.
Born, pardon my French, but that was fucking amazing. That was, it's so good. The notes I've got here. You know what I really love as well? I was writing a question down and be like, oh, let's pull on this thread. And you would literally then answer it. And I'd put a line through it and go, oh shit, he already just answered that one. Okay. This is so amazing. One thing that I love about the way that you're working through that process as well is you look at the metric, and then from the metric, you're then knowing what are the next key things to be able to improve that metric, and then what the flow and effect is it. That methodical approach, I just absolutely love. And even like this morning, I was testing 2 different VSLs, and like the second one, I was like, oh, this second one will blow the first one out of the water. Not the case at all. It bombed compared to the original control VSL. And I was like, oh shit. Okay, then like let's completely get rid of that second one. I've got to try and beat the control again, do you know what I mean, through another version right now. And then it was looking through these different metrics that you are highlighting, especially on the front end. And what I find really interesting, and I love how you bring up as well the different face, because that was something I know, like for me and like, do you mean the Rainmakers right now, we're not going to be currently having that problem because we only turned ads on like a week ago. But it will become a problem because as we continue to ramp up ad spend, do you know what I mean? It's going to go through the people, and therefore a different face is such an interesting solution to that problem that I feel like is actually really easily solved as well. Like it wouldn't cost much or a lot of effort to, let's say, for example, for me to find, do you mean an attractive woman to go, hey, can you go in front of the camera?
Ask your wife, you know what I mean? Like you
another attractive woman. Yeah, like just like someone to be able to get in front. And like that's so key and critical to be able to do that. So I love that. So the CPMs and being able to go through the click-through rates, I find really interesting. The headlines, I think you really nailed, and that's something I've been picking up recently, which was what are the winning headlines with the ads, and then transferring that into the landing page as well for then that to be able to improve. With the landing page, I think you alluded to like a landing page conversion rate of 20%. Was that about correct?
Honestly, every offer is different. You just got to, like, I've got some with only a conversion of 10%. And some people go, oh, that's really bad. But the offer's so broad that we've tested hundreds of headlines and our controls at like 10%. We've had like world-class copywriters write headlines. And, you name it. We've got the best of the best writing headlines for this offer. And 10% is good because it's so broad. Now, when you go niche and you talk specifically to a customer, and you're going to have a really high, you can get up to 50% landing page conversion rate. but it totally matters, and totally depends on how micro niche you are. If you're super micro niche and you're like, hey, you with this specific problem, I'm going to solve it, and then you take them and your landing page talks exactly to them, you're going to have a higher conversion rate, but your market is only so big. You know, you're talking to a specific market, and eventually, you know, you just recycle through all of that market, and that's fine. You can have, you know, you can have a brilliant business making millions just doing micro niche stuff, and I have no problem with that. But if you're looking to do tens of millions and go broad, yes, a lot of the time your landing page conversion drops down to 25 to 10%, depending on how broad you are with your offer.
So the example you used with Ross, that I just want to pull kind of like a thread that I think is really important for the viewer right now is, let's say you are having a discussion with Ross, and I think originally, so like I remember like in the thread we were in together in that group, Ross said like, oh, I'm looking for a media buyer, and I was like, go to Vaughn. Now that conversation is essentially originally was based on, oh, I need a media buyer to run my ads better. But what you said from the very beginning, which I find extremely important, that I want everyone else to pick up what you put down, is your actual solution to begin with wasn't actually ads per se. It was like this marketing philosophy and strategy that needed to be fixed to therefore make everything else look better as well, which I think is so important, because I feel like a lot of coaches today are getting stuck because they're almost, it's kind of like the man with a hammer is just looking for nails, where when you have somebody that has more of a quiver, then they're able to actually open up and solve the bigger problems.
You have to be a holistic holistic doctor of marketing. Like the way that I look at it, right, is probably like yourself. I'm into health. I have that holistic view, and I have a bunch of experts around me that are, yes, they're specialists, but they are trained in multiple disciplines that they're giving me advice, right? And that's how I want to be to my clients. I read copy books. I read general marketing stuff. I read books on offers. I do courses on offers, even though I'm a media buyer, because I realized early on the problem that you see is not always the problem. Sometimes it's something else that's you're seeing a symptom, right? And the reason why I brought up about doctors is because a doctor is prescribing you, most of the time, a doctor is prescribing something to mask your symptoms from a deeper problem, right? So I want to find, even though I'm a media buyer, really I'm just a high-level marketer that's doing media buying, but I'm coming with the view of fixing the root problem, not the cause. I'm not going, Chris, you got a sore elbow. Cool. Here's Nurofen. Here's ibuprofen. I'm like, you got a sore elbow. Cool. What's the mechanics? Let's look at it.
Stop banging your elbow against the wall and it'll stop hurting.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's the way that I look at marketing, the way as if though I am a holistic doctor and I'm taking everything into account and I'm looking at the big picture, and a lot of those problems can be solved through media buying, but some of those problems can't be solved with media buying. So I need to be able to have those solutions for my clients, where I can have that holistic view of giving them the right answer and fixing the actual root cause of the problem.
Yeah, it's like I wrote a post a little while ago, and it was talking about doctors. I related doctors to marketers, and it was like, as a doctor, do you know what I mean? You would get your license taken off you if you prescribed without proper diagnosis first. And marketers, unfortunately, there's a lot of marketers that are prescribing without proper diagnosis first. And that's where it's like, you're actually a really good marketer masquerading as a media buyer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
that's the kind of,
Correct.
you're Trojan horsing them thinking, oh, you need a media buyer because a bunch of people are jumping up and down that. But the true solution actually lays in more of a holistic approach.
Exactly. And I'll thank my competitors for shouting at the rooftops, being like, you need a media buyer, you need a media buyer. And then they go in, they do media buying, and they don't fix the root problem. And then I get a call and it's like, hey man, you know, I've tried this person, and like they weren't able to do it. And then I look at their funnel and it's like, yeah, dude, it's actually not to do with media buying. Like, here's your problem. Pay me to do your media buying, but I'll find the actual problem and I'll let you know what the problem is. I'm happy to have you as a client. You know, yeah, let's solve the problem here.
Dude, I love this. All right, we've already gone over time. If it's cool with you, I'm going to
keep going. You're
beg
right.
you to go for a round 2 very soon.
Oh.
Before I do let you go though, Vaughn, who is the perfect type of client that you want to be working with?
So at the moment, I'm looking for somebody that's doing maybe $300,000, $400,000, maybe $500,000 a year in their coaching or expert, or they've got a course. They have a back end, so they've got a anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000 automatic product, as in a course, and then they have one-on-one coaching where they're selling a 15 to 25K back end, and they've got all that set up, but they don't have their marketing dialed in. They don't have all of the things that we just talked about, or they don't have the funds. Mm. The person that I'm looking for is somebody who's got the business in place. They're an expert. However, they need a partner in their marketing division, which brings the money, because I'll bring the money and I'll bring the expertise and I'll bring the team. I can have my copywriter write your copy. I can run the media buying. I can have my funnel builder build your funnel. I can have my automations guy do all your automations, all your emails, set up your webinar, get my copywriter to write you a killer webinar. So somebody that's starting out, that's doing, say, like I said, anywhere between $300,000 to $500,000 a year, you know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, but they're looking to go to $1 million a month, essentially. And they understand that their main bottleneck is actually their marketing. That's who I'm looking for. Yeah, if that's you, reach out. Would love to have a discussion, see what I can do. Because yeah, it'd be a profit share agreement.
Is there a specific link that people should go to? Because we'll put that obviously in the show notes or wherever the hell this will be shown anyway.
Just honestly, just hit me up on Facebook Messenger. That'll be the easiest place to get me. You know, without giving my phone number out. Or my
I won't share your phone number. I won't share your phone number.
Or my personal email. Yeah, honestly, just add me on Facebook.
042.
That was wrong, so
Yeah,
I'm glad you started that way.
Gotcha,
I'm glad you started that way. But yes, just reach out to me on Facebook. You know, even just being on my Facebook, I share stuff every now and then, which is valuable anyways. So yeah. And then just send me a message and happy to see if I can help.
Amazing.
Worst case scenario, if you reach out to me, we get on a call, I'm going to tell you, give you a bunch of value for free, and that's it.
Dude, every conversation with you is highly valuable. I appreciate you, brother. You're an amazing human being. Thank you. Have an amazing day. We'll do round 2 very soon, because this was absolutely tremendous, the notes that I've gotten here. And awesome. You just keep being amazing, bro.
Awesome. Thank you.
If you've enjoyed this episode and it's vibed with you, then make sure that you hit subscribe, whether you're on the YouTube or on the podcast. And importantly, if there is any guests that you want me to have on the show or specific questions or topics that you want me to be able to cover for you, simply put it into the YouTube comments or send me an Instagram DM. That way I can make sure you're getting the most out of actually being here.